Good afternoon, guys. This is Ryan with Michigan Storm Chasers. We're going to take a peek here at Wednesday and then even into Thursday here at the potential severe weather that we have incoming. Now, we went to bed last night and models really didn't have much of anything in particular. We just kind of knew coming into this week, we kind of figured that we are going to have days with really high instability coupled with some wind shear, but we didn't really have an idea of what could trigger off storms. Because even though you have the heat and you have the wind shear, you still need to perform a lift or a trigger to get the storms up and going. Wake up this morning, and the SPC did a really good job with zoning in on Wednesday. And this morning's models around 8 o'clock came in, or should I say 9 o'clock? They came in and basically said, okay, we have wind shear, we have the trigger now, we also have the instability. So looking at the models here, we're going to take a peek at two models, which is the NAM 3 and the NAM 12. This is the NAM, the regular NAM 12 that we use. This is going to be the instability model for Wednesday afternoon. This is 2 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock, we see most, if not all, of the lower peninsula of Michigan is encompassed in an unstable atmosphere. In particular, I want to point out the fact that we have over 2,000 to 3,000, even parts of this down here in southwest Michigan near Kalamazoo has 4,000 surface cape. Now, to get severe weather, we want to see that up above 1,000. When you get to the 3,000, you have really good support. When you get up to 4,000, you can be talking stuff like large hail and just very unstable environment in general. But that's just one ingredient. We look at the other ingredient, which is wind shear with the mid to upper levels. The wind speeds up there are actually cranking pretty good. We're looking at right around 40 to 50 knots of bulk shear. And you can see here in the green, we're looking between 40 and 50 knots there, which is really supportive. You want to see usually above 30 to 35 to get organized cells. When you get to closer to 40 and above, you're talking organized squall lines. You can be talking supercells. You can be talking a lot of different organized clusters or just in general organized storms. So we have that. Another thing we want to point out is the low level wind speeds down here, the 925 millibar, which is the lowest level we can go on these models. So as close to the ground as possible. We skip ahead in here to the Wednesday afternoon, evening time frames. We see the entire state again here compassed within 20 to 30 knots of bulk or should I say 30 knots of 1 kilometer shear, which could also mean we could see some potential for some low level rotation with these storms. I'm not going to say we're going to get a tornado threat yet. I want to wait for more models because, again, the confidence in this is still quite low, but it does warrant watching as we move into future outlooks, future model runs, and forecasts. Now, the last thing I want to look at here is the NAM 3 in regards to Wednesday. The overall pattern of this system favors a squall line type of event. So we think that the squall line, or at least storms, are going to fire somewhere over Wisconsin, or they could fire somewhere in the upper, should I say, central, west central Michigan, somewhere along the coastline of Lake Michigan there. And that could spark more storms depending on how this entire system plays out. We could be talking mainly linear complexes, which could have wind, hail, and maybe a threat for tornadoes, or we could be talking supercells as well that form into a line. Again, we're just going to have to kind of wait and see how this plays out as we get closer. Confidence is still quite low, but this model is the only model we have at this time to kind of go off of. And this shows we have cells that start firing in northern Michigan here, and it forms into a big squall line bow echo as it pushes to the southeast. So we expect that to be the case here. We think it's going to be mainly a squall line. We're just not sure how it's going to evolve into. If it's going to be supercells to begin with, or if it's going to just kind of grow upscale into like cells that are just going to congeal almost immediately. So again, a lot to play out, lots to figure out. Right now, the main threat looks to be wind. I'm not going to say specifics on hail or tornadic threat at this point, just because, like I said before, I want to have more confidence. So that is Wednesday. Also, before I forget, the timing for that right now in the models is late afternoon to the early evening time frame. And we do expect it to kind of shift and adjust. I think it's going to be a little bit more widespread. I don't think most of central and lower Michigan, or should I say central and southern Michigan, will see storms. I think there's going to be a little bit higher probability of one particular area. But again, I do want to wait for more confidence to exist before I throw out, maps or, more confidence saying, yeah, this area is going to get it or that area is not going to get it. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I want to look again into the Thursday time frame because we do have potential on this model here for, again, severe weather on Thursday, depending on how Wednesday plays out, more than likely. I go back over to the regular NAM 12 model and I go forward to Thursday. We remember here on Wednesday, we have that Cape, the instability in southern Michigan pushes up in. Now, if I go ahead and push into the Thursday time frame, we do have instability once again encompassing the entire state and a trigger right off here in Wisconsin, which could trigger off storms that could track across Lake Michigan and maybe even fire some cells ahead of that line or ahead of the main trigger into the western parts of Michigan. So we're going to we're going to keep an eye on Thursday as well. But for right now, stay tuned to the forecast for Wednesday. We could have a potentially big severe weather day shaping up here. But again, I want to say more specifics will come probably either this evening or tomorrow morning when we have more confidence and more models to go off of. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button on this video. We really would appreciate that. And we'll have forecasts going up on our page all tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. Just pay attention to our page, pay attention to the SPC, pay attention to your news stations, whatever form of information you go out, you get your information from, just pay attention to that. And once again, thank you for watching and stay safe, guys.